Hey there gardeners, this is a video on my worm composting here in my basement. If I come inside my mechanical room with the furnace and everything here, what you'll see is a whole bunch of stuff, which is over here. There's a worm bin, there's another black one right there. I've got another homemade one, right up there. And you'll see all of these buckets, which means that this is in my basement, and over the winter I've just been, as I've been making worm compost, or they've been making it, I guess, as I empty a tray, I've been filling it into these 5-gallon buckets, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and a small one, so probably 20 to 25 gallons of compost just within the last couple of months here. So this is going well. I'll tell you what the general way this works. Let me open up the lid here. And I've actually already thrown in some compost here a few minutes ago before I decided to do this video. But basically you can see what I throw in here. I'm pretty flexible about whatever. If my kid has some leftover French fries or a piece of pizza or whatever, some grapes that went bad in the fridge, I throw them all in on top, and then what I do is take some, what sort of is unfinished leaf compost, which is what this is here, and I will shake some of that in on top. And it's a little tough to do all this with one hand, but while holding the camera. But you get the general idea here, that I keep that covered up. Number one, I'm adding some good carbon material, from the leaf compost, and also my leaf compost, I really don't do much with it, so it's not very finished. It's essentially unfinished compost. You can still see bits of leaves and things in there, and the worms will finish that off and have a lovely time doing so. So that's the general idea on that. I just really have a huge, big old pile of leaves out back. I have some videos on it, and I pour in maybe a couple of gallons of human urine per week, just when I'm going out to the yard. I take out a couple of gallons from the bathroom. And then feed it all, to the worms here as I need it, as a sort of cover for the, for the food scraps. And I'm amazed with a relatively small family how much we're able to put, how much food scraps. I'm constantly coming downstairs, with trays full of all kinds of stuff. And I just recently started keeping track here of kind of, when I started a given tray, the way the trays all stack up one on top of each other. I just feed the top tray, and then so the older ones are down below, and I'll show you today. I'm going to just take the one from down below. So I only have one hand, so you'll see the camera is going to go a little crazy for a moment here, but that's the tray I just took off, and here's the next one in the line here, and you can definitely see, if I scrape into this a bit, you'll see the worms all around in there. The lighting down here is not the greatest for the video, so I'm sorry about that. But if I try to focus, hopefully you can see. If I scoop them out, again, lots and lots of worms doing their thing there. So that's what's going on in these worm bins. And this lovely worm bin here actually came to me from another YouTuber, Paula, out in Illinois. Had an extra worm bin, and that has come in very, very handy. And even with that, I've needed to start another third one myself. So Paula, thanks again. It's definitely been quite useful. I'm going to keep going down in this black bin over here just to show you. Sorry for the camera moving as we go. As I get lower and lower, and I'm unstacking here, if you can see that, I've taken those stacks out, so now only the bottom one is remaining. And if I grab that, I'll show you how that looks. Again, sorry, the camera is probably making you motion sick at this point, but this is now, we're at the top rack here, and I've just stacked it out here just for demonstration purposes. I know it looks all black because that is black gold. Lovely finished compost there. So you can't see the, you can't see the leaves anymore or anything like that. You can't see the food scraps. It's really, finished compost truly at this point. And this has been about 2 months that this has been in the worm bin. I could change it more often, but I've got, I keep up with it as best I can. And once in a while in the bottom tray there'll be a stray straggler of a worm or two, but usually not too much. If I see one, sometimes I'll pluck them out and toss them into the rest of the bin. Occasionally, the thing that might survive, I'll show you here, a little bit of an eggshell or something like that, but that's fine. That'll, keep on working away out in the compost when I put it out in the yard at my garden. And really, then what I do is I empty this out into one of these 5-gallon buckets, and a tray like this will easily give me a couple of gallons worth of wonderful compost, and then this tray will then be open, will be empty, and I'll pop that one on top and put my food scraps in and cover it up with some leaf compost, unfinished, and let the worms finish it away. So that's the general process down here in my basement. I'm down here, at least a few times a week with, just, lots of table scraps and leftovers and food that went bad in the fridge and all that kind of thing. And it is amazing to me, how much, over the winter I notice it more because if I'm not going out to the garden with the compost, and I just use these 5-gallon buckets, the next thing I know, in 2 months' time here, I have, over 20 gallons worth of compost. So for my purposes, that's doing great. So anyway, that's the update on what's going on with my worm composting, vermicomposting in my basement at home. Happy gardening.